Weapon mods have been some of the most popular mods in the Skyrim and Fallout series in years past. This only became more true in Fallout 4 as we saw a complete overhaul of the weapon and weapon mod system. So today I decided to compile a list of what I thought are the top 10 weapon mods for Fallout 4 right now. While I was making this list, I tried to pick mods that are practical in real world use. A lot of mods out there are cool, but they just don't function that well when you actually get into the game. You could spawn them in and they'll be fun for 5 to 10 minutes, but that's not what I want on this list. I wanted mods that aren't super overpowered, are achievable without spawning them in, and finally function properly. Almost every mod on this list is completely fine as far as animation glitches go, and almost all of them have custom sounds. Basically, I tried to find some of the highest quality and coolest weapon mods out there. I'm sure there'll be some that slip through that have a few errors here and there, but all around, this is my top 10 weapon mods. The Desert Eagle, probably the flashiest and loudest handgun in modern pop culture. The reason I put this mod on my list is because in Fallout 4, I think it really encompasses that. It's really loud in Fallout 4 also, as well as very powerful. You can change the caliber type from .44 to .50, obviously being the 50 caliber, to also .38. All these have varying amounts of damage and kind of change the balancing a little bit. Obviously, 50 caliber rounds are more expensive and hard to get compared to 44 or 38. But this also has some cool weapon skins. You can make this gold and or silver, but on top of that you also have some cool kind of designs on the gold and silver weapon skins. In this video I decided to go with the gold because I felt like, you know, Call of Duty, Gold Desert Eagle, you kind of just need that in your life. One of the main reasons I picked this Desert Eagle mod over some of the other ones is because it felt balanced. Although it does do a lot of damage with the 50 caliber bullet fully upgraded, it does do 100 damage per shot, but it's not super fast at firing. The rate of fire is kind of slow, it limits you a little bit, and the recoil is pretty bad. You definitely have to have some control when using this weapon. You can't just go all out and destroy everyone with it. I really like that the mod author put these limitations into the gun, and finally this mod is available on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. So the M1911, this is a gun that's a staple for a lot of games. I'm sure we've all heard about it, seen it, probably even used it. So as a result, there's a lot of M1911 mods for Fallout 4. Why did I pick this one? Well, other than the fact that it did meet my kind of 3 categories that I established in the beginning of this video, it also has these 2 really cool features that I think add a lot to the weapon. You can't just add a silencer to this. You actually have to change the barrel type to a threaded barrel. So this is how it's going to work in real life, as well as you have to add in a rail guard attachment to add different rail attachments. So that would include a laser sight and a red dot scope. Those things might seem really minor, but compared to all the other weapon mods out there that are kind of just a retexture of all the different guns, having those 2 little additions make this stand out and have a little bit more personality. On top of that, again, it does have its own custom sound files. The texture is really nice. It really isn't overpowered at all. It actually, even its most upgraded form, doesn't make you feel too powerful. It feels very well scaled with the other handguns in the game. So then that little extra addition of customizability and personality make me really like this weapon mod. And this is also available on all 3 platforms. So what this guy I don't know how to say his name, does with his weapon mod is combine 2 really popular weapons. So in this case we do see a shotgun mod called the IF88, and basically what it is a combination of the USAS 12, which is an automatic shotgun. It's the fully automatic shotgun with the drum magazine that you would picture in mini games, as well as the SPAS 12, which is another really popular shotgun that we see in a lot of video games today. So instead of making either of those, he decided, hey, why don't I combine the 2? And that's how we got the IF88. This weapon mod has a lot of customizability. There are a lot of different mods you could do to change the weapon all around. It really feels like you have the full extent of both the SPAS 12 and USAS 12 platforms. Like, you could kind of make this a fully automatic beast, or you can go the single shot route and kind of go for a more rangy shotgun. I also really like that this is a gun that's unique to Fallout 4. A lot of the weapon mods are simply making real world guns or guns in different movies and putting them in the game. This is actually totally unique. There's nothing like this in the real world or in any other video game, and I like that. This gun also feels like it has some serious power behind it. The sound, the recoil, everything about it makes you just feel like you have like a cannon at your fingertips. With the fully upgraded model, which is pretty expensive, so I do think it's balanced, you are kind of blowing away super mutant behemoths so fast that I had to keep spawning in a bunch to make it kind of feel like a challenge. Although the fully automatic mode is really powerful, it doesn't feel too fast or too overpowered. With all that being said though, unfortunately this is only available on PC. So the WH-77 modular L.S.W is by the same mod author and following the same kind of ideology. This one's a combination of the M249 and the M60. Even though it is a light machine gun, which, you don't normally think of light machine guns as having that much diversity, but this one definitely does. The modular aspect of its name definitely holds true. You can change all the different barrels around, and it gives you totally different feels with the gun. Some of the different barrels and calibers give you totally different feels for the weapon. Some of them feel like you can kind of run and gun, almost like you can with the M249. Not that you really can run and gun with a light machine gun, but the M249 compared to the M60, very different weapons and very different feels. Using this weapon when you have a higher caliber bullet with a longer barrel, you definitely feel like it's a lot harder to kind of run around and shoot things. You kind of have to stay stationary and almost crouch in some instances to really be accurate with your shots. On the other hand, with some of the lower caliber things and the shorter barrels, it's a lot easier to run around. I kept hiding behind trees and shooting enemies that way. And I felt a lot of diversity only using really 2 different modified weapons. There's still a lot more of other modifications I could have tried out that I just didn't have time to, and that's why I made it onto this list. There's a lot of things you could do with this gun, and it definitely fits the modular aspect of its name. There's 2 things I really liked about the Jaguar MSX 200. One, it had a lot of really cool paint jobs. I got a huge kick out of the Air Force one, and they also had one that was called like Street or something, which, kind of had a bunch of like gang markings and different designs on the weapon. But on top of that, there's 24 different ammo types you could add to this. So that includes, your normal 50 caliber, 5.56, 45, etc. But also you do get incendiary, explosive, plasma, cryo rounds. There's a ton of different options in that department, and I really liked that. I had a lot of fun playing with a lot of the different ammo types available, and obviously the added designs were a cool little bonus, but it was really the ammo type diversification that sold me on this. I like being able to kind of change the weapon around however I felt fit. Some of them I just wanted a stupidly powerful explosive round that was really expensive because the explosive rounds weren't easy to get, but it was fun, and it did a lot of damage when I needed it to. This weapon's also available on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. The AS Vektor fits into a category that I don't think anything else on this list, or really in Fallout 4, fills. I feel like in Fallout 4, all the submachine guns are either too weak to be relevant or just completely demolished by the assault rifles in the game or heavier weapons. The AS Vektor filled that gap for me. It really was a nice, moderately powerful submachine gun that had a high rate of fire but didn't do a lot of damage, that filled a role that the assault rifle couldn't fill. Using a lighter weight armor with this thing and just being more mobile in general made it feel a lot more natural. I felt like I could just run around and shoot enemies really quickly and then run away. On top of that, you could definitely tell the mod author put a lot of individual effort into each piece of this weapon. There aren't a ton of modifications for it, but all the modifications feel like they fit. They feel very natural, they work well, and they look really good too. The texture quality is definitely pretty high. I also really like the route he went. He tried to make it the AS Vektor was an institute weapon and that they developed it, and that extra little effort to make it almost lore friendly I really liked. I really enjoyed that. Currently it's only available on PC though. So I'm sure you've all heard of an M16 before. Well, the M2216 is the M16 reimagined for the Commonwealth. I made a video on this mod a long time ago. It came out right around the release of Fallout 4, and despite all these different M16, M4, etc. mods coming out, this one remains as my favorite. It's really well polished since it's been out for so long, the animations are pretty good, the sounds are good, and I really like the weapon mods he chose for this. This is an M16, not an M4. This is supposed to be a more medium to long range rifle, where the M4 is a medium to short range rifle. And although you do have some short and stubby grips even for this weapon as mods, it does really handle, and a lot of the mods make it feel like it works a lot better in medium range, which I really like about that. It also isn't stupidly overpowered like a lot of the other mods out there, which is really the reason I pick it over them. Unfortunately, it's only available on PC. So the Gatling rifle is a really interesting hybrid between an assault rifle and the minigun. It was made specifically for Fallout 4, combining assets already in Fallout 4. And this thing actually is really well done. This might be my second favorite mod on this list, and basically why I like it so much is there's a lot of things you could change about it to make it your own, but not in the typical sense like some of these other mods. This has one way of using it. There's only a certain way you could use this mod. It goes through a ton of ammo, which is like absolutely insane how much ammo you burn through. But you could change the different types of ammo, you could change a lot of different things about it. And those little changes go a long way with this weapon for whatever reason. That's how I felt. It does have a ton of different ammo types like every good minigun should have, so you could play with all those, but it's also going to be really expensive to use this thing. The amount of ammo you burn through is absolutely insane. The fire rate, especially on the most upgraded fire rate version, is like insane. Like, I don't know how you would actually maintain that, which makes it really balanced and makes it a lot of fun to use. This is available on PC as well as consoles. So I said the last gun would probably be my second favorite. The modular PTRS-41 anti-tank rifle would without a doubt be my most favorite mod on this list. It is really well done, every aspect about it. You'd think it's just an overpowered sniper rifle, but it's a lot more than that. There are a ton of customizability options. It's insane, and it's not like there's one clear route to go. There's a bunch of different ways you could go. You could actually make this thing automatic if you wanted to, which is crazy. Despite the weapon being super old, it feels like there's a lot of ways to make it more modern. You have the different scopes and then different target sensors on it. You could change around what kind of bullets it fires, from depleted uranium rounds to explosive to incendiary. This weapon is just a lot of fun to use. I think it's pretty well balanced for what it is, although it might be a little bit on the strong side, but still, nonetheless, it's really good for taking out really strong enemies, but has insane recoil. It's available on all the consoles and PC. Last but not least, we do have the M79 Thumper. So basically what this adds is the grenade launcher from the Vietnam era. It has 3 different versions from it. The normal, just single shot, it's a grenade, it blows up. Then you also have the grape shot version, which basically fires things in almost, it seems like a carpet bomb style thing. That's a lot of fun too. And then you finally have the bounce modification. This thing's really well done, like surprisingly well done. The textures are super high quality, 4K textures, but on top of that, it doesn't feel like broken. I'm using some really low level enemies here just because I wanted to have a lot of them, and it's explosive, so I want a bunch of people to die at once. But using this on higher level enemies, you're not gonna one-shot kill them. It's more better for kind of clearing a crowd or blowing people away and stuff. Although the only thing you could change about this is the projectile type. I do really like it. It looks really well, it functions really well, and all around it's just a good weapon mod to have. It's available on PC and consoles.